real-life love twist. YNR's Susan Walters and Linden Ashby stun fans with unexpected wedding celebration surprise. Soap operas are known for their swoon-worthy weddings, jaw-dropping plot twists, and grand romantic gestures, but sometimes, the most heartwarming love stories happen off-screen. In a stunning real-life twist that feels straight out of a Young and the Restless script, longtime couple Susan Walters, Diane Jenkins, and Linden Ashby, best known for Teen Wolf and Melrose Place, recently shocked fans and loved ones alike with a dazzling, deeply personal, and entirely unexpected vow renewal ceremony that turned into a full-blown wedding celebration, complete with YNR co-stars, secret planning, and a message that left guests in joyful tears. Susan Walters and Linden Ashby have long been celebrated as one of daytime and primetime TV's most enduring power couples. Married since 1986, they've weathered the storms of showbiz, raised two beautiful daughters, and remained each other's biggest supporters through thick and thin. Their love story began on the set of Loving, the ABC soap where they portrayed on-screen lovers, and blossomed into a real-life romance that outshined any fictional pairing. Over the years, their relationship became a quiet inspiration to many in the industry, a rarity in the turbulent world of Hollywood relationships. And yet, despite the decades of partnership, Susan and Linden never made a spectacle of their love. They were private, grounded, and genuinely focused on what mattered: their bond, their family, and each other. But sometimes, even the most enduring love stories deserve a second act, and that's exactly what Susan Walters had in mind when she secretly began planning a wedding surprise that would stun not only Linden, but the entire soap community. It all began with a quiet conversation between Susan and her Young and the Restless co-star Eileen Davidson, who has known both Susan and Linden for decades. Over lunch at a cozy Brentwood cafe, Susan mused about how fast time had flown. "It's been almost 40 years," she said, stirring her tea thoughtfully. "I want to do something special. Something unexpected. Something unforgettable." Eileen leaned in. "Like a vow renewal?" Susan nodded. "But not just any vow renewal. I want to throw a surprise wedding celebration. For Linden. For our girls. For everyone who's been part of our journey." And thus began a covert operation that would rival any YNR cliffhanger. With the help of their daughters Grace and Savannah, a few trusted industry friends, and the full support of the YNR family, Susan plotted the biggest surprise of her life. A venue was booked under a pseudonym, a rustic winery in Napa Valley, where Susan and Linden had once spent a spontaneous weekend early in their marriage. Custom invitations were sent to guests under the guise of a celebration of life and love, with no mention of a vow renewal or ceremony. But behind the scenes, preparations were anything but ordinary. On a golden spring afternoon, guests arrived at the lush vineyard to find an elegantly decorated open-air space adorned with soft fairy lights, hundreds of ivory roses, and photos chronicling Susan and Linden's decades-long journey, from young lovebirds on set to seasoned stars, proud parents, and best friends. Among the guests were familiar faces from across the soap world: Eric Braeden, Victor Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, Nikki Newman, Peter Bergman, Jack Abbott, and even Michael Damian. Danny Romalotti made a rare appearance, flying in from Europe to attend. Several former castmates from Teen Wolf and Melrose Place mingled with soap veterans, creating a star-studded but incredibly intimate crowd. At the center of it all stood Linden Ashby, utterly clueless. He thought he was attending an anniversary party thrown by their daughters. He had no idea Susan had spent months crafting a tribute not just to their love, but to the family and legacy they'd built together. But when the music shifted to a soft rendition of their wedding song, "In My Life" by the Beatles, and Susan appeared at the end of the aisle wearing a simple but stunning ivory gown, Linden's jaw dropped. And then he laughed.
And cried.
And said the only thing he could manage: "You got me." The ceremony, officiated by Eileen Davidson, who got ordained specifically for the occasion, was a masterclass in heartfelt simplicity. There were no over-the-top theatrics, no grand speeches written by assistants, just raw, honest emotion. Susan spoke first. "Linden, I fell in love with you on a soundstage, but I fell in love with our life every day afterward. Through all the jobs, the moves, the growing pains, you've been my constant, my strength, my soft place to land. Today, I don't want to redo our vows. I want to renew my promise to grow with you, to laugh with you, and to find joy in the ordinary moments, because those, with you, are extraordinary. Linden wiped tears from his eyes, then replied with a grin. I had a whole speech prepared for your fake anniversary party. I guess I'll wing it. Susan, you've always been the star of every scene in my life. Even in the quiet moments, you shine. You've given me a love story worth telling and retelling. So, here's to the next chapter. I love you. I always will. The crowd erupted in applause. Even Eric Braden, not known for showing emotion publicly, was seen dabbing his eyes. Following the emotional ceremony, the celebration kicked into high gear with a reception that felt like a crossover episode between every beloved soap ever made. DJ'd by YNR's own Brighton James, Devin Hamilton, the party featured heartfelt toasts, an epic first dance choreographed by their daughters, and a surprise performance by Michael Damian, who serenaded the couple with a rendition of Rock On. The menu paid tribute to their favorite dates over the years: Thai noodles from their favorite LA dive, wood-fired pizza from their Italy vacation, and champagne from the very vineyard where they stood. And in true soap fashion, there was a surprise twist, but this one came with laughter, not scandal. As the night wound down, Linden took the mic. I have to confess something, he said with a playful smirk. I knew something was up. You're sneaky, Susan, but our daughters are terrible liars. The crowd burst into laughter. I didn't know what was coming, he continued, but I hoped it would be something like this. And even if I had known, I wouldn't have changed a thing. News of the surprise wedding celebration spread like wildfire once Susan posted a single photo to Instagram the next day, her and Linden laughing mid-dance, captioned simply, "Still my favorite co-star." Thousands of fans flooded the comments with love, admiration, and emotional reactions. This is the real-life Diane and Jack love story we all needed. You two are the definition of true love. Soap royalty, for a reason. I'm in tears. This feels like the best plot twist YNR never wrote. YNR cast members quickly joined in. Melissa Claire Egan, Chelsea Lawson, this was the most beautiful night. You two are goals. Amelia Heinley, Victoria Newman, you guys raised the bar on romance. What a gift to witness this. Christian LeBlanc, Michael Baldwin, still processing all the joy from this night. You both taught us that enduring love is the best kind of drama. As for what's next, Susan continues to shine as Diane Jenkins on The Young and the Restless, and Linden has teased a new directing project, possibly even an episode of YNR himself. But more than that, they're embracing this new chapter of their lives together. In a candid interview with Soap Opera Digest following the celebration, Susan reflected, "We've both played so many characters in our careers, but the role I treasure most is being his wife. And now, thanks to that night, I get to fall in love with him all over again, in front of the people we love." Linden added, "People think the big gestures are what matter. But really, it's the little things. The morning coffee, the shared looks across a room, the hands that always reach for each other. That's our love story. And I wouldn't trade it for anything." In a world filled with on-again, off-again romances and public breakups, Susan Walters and Linden Ashby have quietly built something extraordinary, a love that lasts, a partnership that inspires, and now, a wedding celebration that fans will never forget. Their surprise ceremony was more than a party. It was a reminder, to fans, fellow actors, and anyone searching for hope, that real love isn't just possible. It's worth celebrating. And in true soap opera style, it leaves us with the ultimate cliffhanger. Can anyone top this real-life love twist?